Good evening, everyone. I call the Thursday, April 27th, 2023 Peninsula School District Board of Directors meeting to order. Will you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, moving on to item 3, approval of the agenda. Is there any discussion prior to the vote? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
It's been moved by Chuck and seconded by Lori. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Agenda is approved. Moving on to item 4, Month of the Military Child. Do we have any of our military families here this evening? Any military kids? We usually have one representative family, but he got called away today to play at a baseball game. So it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to play at Cheney Stadium. So we will excuse him for that. But I want to thank everyone who submitted their photos and shared their stories this month about being a military child. And I want to point out something that I think is so uniquely special about military kids. It's that military kids there are high-cap kids. They are on IEPs. They are athletes. They are medically fragile. They are all of us, and yet they still persevere through additional challenges, frequent moves, deployments, just a lot of change in their lives, and we just are really proud to be able to honor their service and what they bring to our school district. We're also super excited to announce that we are just a breath away from actually passing the Purple Star bill this year. It's been passed through both House and the Senate. It is just waiting for the governor's signature. So we were hoping he would get it done in April for Month of the Military Child. It looks like that's not going to happen, but thank you to everyone who supported that. And in recognition of Month of the Military Child, I would like to read a resolution from the board. So this is resolution number 23-04, April 2023, Month of the Military Child. Whereas the Peninsula School District serves school-aged military-connected children, and whereas military families in the Peninsula School District include men and women on active duty service in the Air Force, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard, and member of the Reserves and National Guard, and whereas the state of Washington, and therefore the Peninsula School District, is a member of the Interstate Compact on Educational Opportunity for Military Children, which addresses key issues encountered by military students, including enrollment, placement, attendance, eligibility, and graduation. And whereas military-connected children and their families move every 2 to 3 years, an average of 6 school moves during a child's life within the United States or abroad, disrupting academic routines and friendships. And whereas military-connected children also serve their country by demonstrating resilience, perseverance, cultural competency, and patriotism. And whereas military-connected children provide unique and valuable insights on learning, friendship, service to others, and heightened national and global awareness. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Peninsula School District Board of Directors and Superintendent recognizes April 2023 as Month of the Military Child and encourages all within our community to show appreciation and honor our military students and their families. Okay. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
It's been moved by David and seconded by Jennifer to approve the Month of the Military resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 5, student presentations. We have our Gig Harbor High School, UW High School, was it UW College in the high school class, UW 131, Student Passion Projects. And I'm going to call Miss Karen Kennedy Floyd up to introduce her class and her students that she brought along.
Thank you so much for inviting us, and I'm sorry that your own son wasn't able to be here today because of the baseball game, right? So we were going to have a lot more people represented, but they're all at the game. So here we go. Including Brendan, who he, you know, he's going to West Point, and he was the leader of getting that motion passed in the House and Senate. So Way to go. Okay, so we have a few students here who are going to be presenting their public service announcements, which they made on behalf of their passion project. So you'll see their posters and their passion projects, and I'm going to let the public service announcements and the students speak for themselves. Noah is the first one up. If you would come on down. This is Noah.
Hello. This is my public service announcement about water safety. The Gig Harbor Canoe and Kayak Racing Team and Penmet Park Dragons are hosting the 10th annual Gig Harbor Powers Cup, and I was in charge of planning a water safety demonstration, which happens on both days of the Powers Cup, so April 29th and 30th, and it'll be 2 hours each day, and I invite everyone to come down and learn more about water safety and enjoy some races. It will happen at 12 to 2 each day. Almost 76% of all fatal boating accident victims drowned, and of those, almost 85% were not reported as wearing a life jacket from the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary. These boats are meant for fun, and when used safely, they can be. 8 out of every 10 boaters who drowned were using vessels less than 21 feet in length from the U.S. Coast Guard. The fact is, these boats are death traps for people who don't know water safety. But don't take my word for it. Learn from a real sea kayak instructor the Gig Harbor Canoe and Kayak Racing Team will have at Powers Cup on April 29th and 30th. Thank you.
So just a little bit of background is that I have 4 sections of University of Washington in the high school, which is close to 100 kids, and each of them, either individually, like Noah, or in small groups, decided what they were going to be passionate about and research and do something with. So the next group you're going to hear from is actually a group of 5 divided into 2 groups. So the first group is Allie and Elizabeth. If you want to come on down. And then the next group, your PSA is next, gentlemen. Oh, you have an intro for the whole thing? Yes. Look at these guys planning. Way to go. Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, of course. All right. Hi there. My name is Jonathan, and so for our PSA, we are looking to donate stuffed animals to Seattle Children's and Marybridge Hospitals. So my older brother, Michael, I think he's pretty well known around the community. Michael Johansson, he has suffered from brain cancer 3 times, and him being my older brother, I've ever since, as long as I can remember, I've been going up to the hospital, seeing all of his appointments, and I think the main thing that stands out is seeing how lonely all of the kids are. So we went into more research, and that's something that all of us, including me, are extremely passionate about, is witnessing firsthand the effects on the mental health that being alone and sick has on these kids. So basically, again, to summarize, what we're looking for is we're doing a toy drive in the next month, and we're looking for the support from especially the elementary schools. We have, we can make signs and posters and donation stations, but again, the video will explain everything else, but we're looking for stuffed animal donations. Thank you.
Take a look around you. You're somewhere familiar. You're with people you know. You feel comfort, you feel secure, you feel at peace. Now, take a look at the screen. Heart monitors, hospital beds, medications, fear, uncertainty, loneliness. The comfort, security, and peace you feel right now is possible in a hospital, and you can play a role in making that possibility a reality. Donate a stuffed animal. You aren't just donating a toy, you are donating the gift of a smile.
You can move right into the next one. We're the same one.
Take a look.
That's just a poster.
Childhood should be full of laughing, playing, and having fun, but for some children, life takes a sharp turn. Getting sick and having to stay in the hospital is a scary and lonely experience. These scary experiences can leave children with lasting effects, including PTSD and depression, which can last for years after being hospitalized. But a simple gesture such as a stuffed animal can make all the difference to hospitalized children. Support for hospitalized children is very important. The difference a seemingly insignificant stuffed animal can make can have a massive impact on children's mental health in the hospital. By donating to our toy drive today, you can make a massive difference in the mental health of hospitalized children.
Good job, you guys. I want you to understand that they made the posters. They created the public service announcements with all the sound, the voiceovers, due to their genius technology teacher. I learned 3 things, and I showed them, and then they can now do 25 things. So it's so awesome. I have many more attached, but we probably don't have time to go through them all. I don't know if you want to just do the slides, and I can quickly tell you about a few of them because I think they're worth hearing about. First of all, let me say that these guys
Childhood should be full of laughter.
Can you guys hear me okay? I'm used to just yelling in my car.
Childhood should be full of laughter.
They had gotten a bunch of donations, and over the weekend, between Friday and Monday, somebody took the stuffed animals. And so they're a little bit devastated. So if you have it in your heart to buy one and donate, bring it by Gig Harbor High School or let me know and we can pick them up. But we do really want to get it into the elementary schools to get them donating as well. So let's go to another slide, and I'll just quickly. This is another one that they're going to be doing cards. They're going to have all the kids in school make a card, and I had my grandchildren make some cards. So if you have kids that like making cards, they'll be delivering those. Next. This is one, Nick and Josh, who are at the baseball game, and there's no access to it, but they're talking about study habits because they didn't have good study habits in junior high, and now they're regretting it, and they've had to relearn their study habits, and they're going to present to the middle schools. Next. And this is Will's, and he is all about making sure that all kids have access to sports equipment. And I know from having raised 3 sons, we went through a lot of expensive sports equipment, and we didn't do anything good with it. And so anyone that has extra sports equipment, let's give it to Will, and he will find a home for it. Okay, next. This is Jasmine. She's one of the students who is really fighting for social justice in our very white school. Let me just say that. It's very homogenous. And she's doing an amazing job of making everybody feel included, including starting up some clubs for that. And I'm very proud of her. Next. So they are wanting kids, this is really cute PSA, but they're trying to get kids to sign up for sports because more and more kids aren't signing up for sports, and they are doing a drive to get kids to sign up. Do you want me to stop? I didn't put too many in. Oh. You could. They're all so good. I could probably get them, yeah. I have about 100, so you don't want to watch them all.
If only I had signed up for sports, I wouldn't be getting arrested. If only I had signed up for sports, I wouldn't be fighting for my life. If only I had signed up for sports, I wouldn't have gotten with the wrong crowd.
Youth participation in sports can reduce the risk of getting arrested, developing cancer, and the underage use of cigarettes and alcohol. It's time to sign up for sports and sign up for a happy future.
Sign up for youth sports and take your kids' health to the next level.
There you go. Anyway, there are going to be different people are putting on sports clinics. We could go through a lot, but just keep your eyes open in the community for the things that are happening, and anyone that can get involved would be greatly appreciated. And everyone is working for the good of others, which I love. So there's hope for our community. These kids are shining examples. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you. Can you share all the information with me or maybe with Tanya about where the drives are so that we can share that with our schools, especially for the toy drives or things that other schools could participate in?
Yes,
and
yes,
we will.
And the sports clinic. There's one group that theirs was next. They're holding for $25 youth basketball camps, and then all that money is going to courts for kids to build courts in third world countries.
Wow, fantastic.
One a year, but this year is Costa Rica. So.
Wow. And Paddler's Cup is this weekend, Noah, here in Gig Harbor?
Yes.
Okay, everyone go to Paddler's Cup and learn about water safety. Very important. Thank you guys. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 6, we've got our student school board representative reports. So we don't have representation from Gig Harbor tonight, but we've got Peninsula and Henderson Bay.
Hi, my name is Josie Behrens, and I'm a senior at Peninsula High School. Just a couple of little updates, nothing huge. We've got a couple different fundraisers going on. Last Friday, we had a little dodgeball tournament that was super fun. It ended with a Stafford versus students game that was pretty hilarious. And so that all goes towards my class's prom. And then tomorrow, we have an event called Mr. Peninsula, which is like, I don't know, it's a little talent competition with a bunch of the boys, and they're trying to woo everyone over, and it's always fun. We've done it for years. Also hilarious. We're also in the process of doing our new round of ASB elections, so all of us ASB kids will be passing the torch down to the next generation, which is super exciting. Our school's pushing really hard for new school board reps because it's something that we've both really enjoyed. So it's definitely being talked about in school. We also are having Teacher Appreciation Week next week, which is a highlight always in our leadership class because we love getting to give back to our teachers. Another exciting thing is our AVID classes, specifically our senior AVID classes are in the process of helping to get the AVID students signed up and enrolled in college. So a lot of the students have gotten their acceptances, and we're really pushing for that May 1st deadline, which is super exciting. So National Decision Day is on Monday. We also have our band is going off to state today. Our spring musical, Willy Wonka, is opening on May 5th at Peninsula High School. So you should come. We also have our AP tests coming up starting next week, so everyone's cramming for that. And then as far as sports go, all of our spring sports are doing amazing. The lacrosse Gig Harbor versus Peninsula game is also tomorrow night, so that's always a great event. Our track team is doing super well. Our girls water polo team is currently 4th in the state, and they moved up a division this year. So they're playing really, really, really good schools, and they're killing it. And then our girls softball team is also 1st in the state right now. So we're super proud of all of our Seahawks. So I think that's all I've got. Oh, yes. Am I ready to make a big announcement? Oh, I have made a big decision. I will be attending the University of San Diego in the fall, and getting a liberal studies in education.
So fourth quarter just started for us. So we just started our classes. So there's not too much going on. However, I think just before spring break, we did another gun violence protest or walkout. And from what I hear, it went well. We also got 10 new students this quarter, so it's getting very packed at our school, and I know everyone's really excited about that. We also just completed state testing, and our Interact Club's Guatemala trip was a success. They even have little mugs with pictures on them that are hilarious and very funny stories. And then we also have a field trip tomorrow for some of our students for, I believe, like a college and career fair, that kind of thing. So that's exciting. Also, Interact Club is mentioned briefly that we will be doing a blood drive in the future, and something about maybe doing a pajama day for heart thing. I can't really remember very well, but that might just be in the future. I don't know. It's only like 3 or 4 kids that wear pajamas to school. The rest are just kind of comfy clothes. I think it'll mean like a pajama day, but I don't know. I mean, like, half the time some of the students even bring blankets in every day as well, so I couldn't tell you how we do one, but yeah, so that might be coming up. Either way, that's just about it. And I'm Michael Johansson's friend, so that was kind of funny to see his brother. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move into comments from the community. There's been some update. I think, Kristen, you attended an OPMA update, so we're going to kind of revisit some of the procedure and rules. So I have a longer script than normal to read tonight, and also we have many speakers, so part of my script is to let you know that it will be 3 minutes and 3 minutes exactly. So we've actually turned on the buzzer so that I don't have to be the bad guy necessarily, but we're going to stick to our time tonight. Our board has policy procedure 1400/1400P, meeting conduct, order of business, and quorum. This policy and procedure are available on our website. By adopting this policy, board meetings must be conducted in a civil, orderly, and businesslike manner. This means that whether we are school directors, district staff, students, members of the community, or some other guest, we must all follow the same standard of civility during school board meetings. We're pleased to be able to provide options for addressing the board during this meeting. This is an opportunity for visitors to be recognized and make brief comments. General reminders, each speaker has a maximum of 3 minutes or less based upon the number of citizens requesting to speak. Additional time may be granted as a reasonable accommodation for a disability or language interpretation. There's no mechanism whereby a speaker can donate some or all of their time to another speaker. No individual may speak more than once per regular meeting, even if there is time remaining. Public comment period is an opportunity for the board to listen to individuals on educational issues, and board members are encouraged to listen attentively. However, public comment period is not a time for dialogue between the board and the public. The board will not respond to statements, questions, or challenges made during public comment period, and there will be no back and forth dialogue. Please know that the board's silence is neutral. It is neither a signal of agreement nor disagreement with the speaker's remarks. Although the board will not engage in dialogue, the board chair might ask a speaker a clarifying question. It is also possible that school district staff will contact a speaker at a later time to follow up on an issue raised during public comment period. Finally, please remember that your words have impact on you, not the school district, and you, not the school district, are responsible for your words. We caution all speakers that it is possible that your statements could violate rights of others under various laws, including laws protecting privacy and laws prohibiting defamation. If you are unsure of the legal effect of your remarks, you should seek independent legal advice. In any case, we ask that you help us model for our students what a respectful and inclusive community looks and sounds like. And I know that we do that anyway. But email is the most efficient way of sharing handouts, flyers, packets with the board. But if you brought hard copies to the meeting, please leave them in the tray near the back of the room. And please do not just bring them up here to the dais. All right, so with that, I will call each speaker to read. Please come up to the podium and state your name, and then you will have 3 minutes to speak. Our first speaker is Maureen Flanagan.
So I'm supposed to say my name again?
Say your name again, please. Yes.
My name is Maureen Flanagan. You may not know that, but I guess I'm dangerous with microphone.
Yeah.
Please don't take any of these comments personally because they're not intended. Since the 1980s, I've been watching what's happened to our education system, and it's went so far down that I've just distressed and appalled at the changes that I've seen. I grew up and was in school during the 50s and the 60s. We were number one in the world, education-wise, in those years, and we are no longer even in the top 10. In fact, in doing research for this meeting, what I discovered is that UNESCO puts out all kinds of information, but the U.S. Department of Education puts out very little. And it's not about the information that I found was not about grades, primary, secondary, or high school education. No, it was about the 25 to 30-year-olds who actually completed college. You know, and I was, more dollars are being spent per child in this country every year than in all other countries in the world. And we're not even in the top 10. That's not okay. That's not okay with me. That's my personal opinion. If it's okay with you, fine. But I don't think it is with you either. I think, I use the word you, and I don't like to do that because I'm not trying to point the finger at anybody here, okay? But maybe I should say as communities, we need to support the parents who are vested and invested in their child's education. I remember with my children going to school and have the teacher tell me I didn't care about my child's education. And I said, well, what do you think I'm here for? I'm not here because I don't care. But if you give that boy another A when he doesn't deserve it, I'm really going to take you to task. Anyways, to make a long story short, we've lost our way when it comes to education. We no longer teach our kids to read. We don't teach them to write. We don't teach them cursive. We don't teach them spelling. They don't even know the pronouns, but they want to change pronouns for different genders, and it's just very, very sad what's going on. Popular trends, and that's what transgenderism is. They have no place in the school system, nor should they be taught in the school system. If we can't teach our children to read and write, and to have all of our children graduate from high school, at least 90% of our children graduate from high school and be able to read and write, then we do not belong trying to teach sex education. You're not smart enough yet.
Thank you, Ms. Flanagan. That's your time.
Okay.
Next up, we have Diane Nelson.
My name is Diane Nelson, and I'm here asking you to put safe parameters for instruction around the sex ed curriculum that our district teaches. You've been listening to me talk for 2 years now, so you know that I support students, staff, public education, and parental rights. I believe that all children deserve an excellent education, and all should be treated with respect and genuine care. But I'm here tonight to remind you that when the voter results were pulled by geographic areas a couple years ago, when we had the vote for the sex education that Washington State was trying to adopt, that 69% of the voters in Gig Harbor voted against it. Therefore, we know that the vast majority of parents and grandparents and community members in this district do not approve of this curriculum. And you do have authority as school board members to put some parameters around that instruction. There's parts of this new curriculum that promote students becoming sexually active, as well as gender ideologies that go against the truth of biological science and cause harm to the bodies and minds of developing children. These parts of the curriculum should not be taught in our schools. So please put parameters for safety around our children. And so when I saw that you were going to be conducting the study session for K-12 health curriculum tonight, I wanted to talk about this topic tonight because I feel really strongly that when we do teach sex ed, it should be only in health class. It does not belong in math or social studies or ELA. So please set those parameters around too. And finally, I just want to say, I don't think anyone becomes a teacher, a principal, a psychologist, a school board member, or any other career involving children because they want to harm children. We all want to protect children, and we all want to help them grow to be healthy adults. And so I'm asking you to consider these safety parameters. And I also, I always like to share a good story when I come, and I just have to tell you, because I've been, really fast. Okay, besides just teaching reading groups, I've been able to volunteer and teach math groups, prepping for the SBA, and it has been such a joy to be in the classroom and working with the kids and helping them and just helping them get that last bit of organization down so they know how to organize their math thoughts and show the evidence of all the good learning they've had. So thank you for listening.
Next up, we have Bob Hartnett. And after Bob Hartnett will be Monica Pierce.
Good evening. I'm Bob Hartnett, over 20-year resident here in Gig Harbor, troops to teachers math, and currently I still sub in the school district. I do special ed, and I was out there this week. Some days are good, and some days can be challenging. I would have to say our paras are always the unsung heroes of those programs. But I'm here tonight just to show concern for the sex education programs that are coming online. I do know from other districts, choices aren't really being made well by, I believe, the school leaderships. But our enrollment in the district has suffered through COVID and the academic concerns. It's now coming back up, I think, and that's because of the focusing on recovery in our academic grade years. So I would encourage the board to thoroughly analyze these programs, reflect off of our parents and their parent input. And I teach on multiple continents. Parents are always the final say in a lot of our education choices. So we want to keep our doors open to returning students, not close that because of some choices in sex education programs. So I would say that the funding is directly tied to our student enrollments. I'm the advocate for more Olympia funding for our per capita students, up over 20K per student, which I'm probably preaching to the choir. But my word of caution is thoroughly analyze and make wise decisions based on inputs from our district. Thank you. and thank our school district teachers and paras.
Monica Pierce, and then after Monica will be Sarah Garriott.
Good evening. My name is Monica Pierce, and I'm the Vice Chair for the Pierce County Chapter of Moms for Liberty. I also live and pay property taxes in this district. Just a heads up to parents, I'm going to quote some graphic words from this curriculum, the middle school flash curriculum. I have findings from an analysis of 15 elements that are in the middle school flash curriculum that is being used in our school district. This analysis was created by a coalition of concerned parents and organizations. I have copies for the board's consideration. The analysis found that 15 out of 15 elements of this program are harmful to children. The presence of even one of these elements indicates that the analyzed materials are inappropriate for children. Having several of these elements in this program should disqualify this curriculum for being used with children. I'd like you to sit back, close your eyes, and visualize your 11 to 14-year-olds discussing the following with their peers. This program teaches 11-year-olds where they can go find birth control, condoms, or have an abortion. It normalizes anal and oral sex and heavily emphasizes transgender ideology. This curriculum teaches 11-year-olds to consent to sex. Instead of discouraging children from having sex, this program implies throughout that it is okay to have sex just as long as they get consent from their sexual partner. This program promotes anal and oral sex to 11-year-olds. The phrase vaginal, anal, or oral sex appears 25 times in this curriculum. Using the three together equates them as equally acceptable forms of sexual behavior for children. From lesson 1 on page 7, quote, "The anus is where feces or poop comes from out of the body. When we talk about anal sex, we are talking about putting a penis in another person's anus." 11-year-olds, please visualize your 11-year-olds. This program promotes sexual pleasure to 11-year-olds. This program describes sexual pleasure through masturbation and fails to present information about the negative outcomes for sexually active children. There is no compelling scientific reason to present this information to children. None. This program teaches 11-year-old children condom use by putting children into small groups with cards outlining the 9 steps of condom use. From lesson 6, page 7, the cards read, check expiration date, carefully open package, pinch tip of condom, roll condom down erect penis, sex, have sex with condom on, ejaculation with condom, hold condom onto penis while pulling out, take condom off penis, throw condom in the garbage. Then the text suggests using a penis model is the best way to show them how to put on a condom. 9, the program promotes premature sexual activity to 11-year-olds by teaching children that they can choose to have sex when they feel they are ready or when they find a trusted partner. It also fails to provide data about the well-documented negative consequences of early sexual activity and fails to encourage sexually active children to return to abstinence. The program fails to establish abstinence as the expected standard.
Thank you. That's your time.
Thank you.
Sarah Garriott, and after Sarah Garriott is Carol Rivera.
I just have a quick request before you start my time, a simple request that you put your pens down tonight. I have everything written that you might need to take notes on that I will give a copy of you, and for all I know, you're making a grocery list or a special recipe, and I'd prefer that you put your pen down and listen to me tonight. Thank you. All right. My name is Sarah Garriott. 2 years ago, I brought over 600 physical signatures, 600. Physical signatures from individuals to our board from our community, as well as certified Pierce County election data proving that the majority in the 26th legislative district rejected the comprehensive sexuality legislation. The petition requested that all sexuality education standards be clearly constrained to the formal health education class and not allowed in any way to be integrated into other subject areas. This was something the majority party in our legislature refused to do, and instead wrote language into the legislation stating, quote, "It is not our intent that sexuality education be integrated into other subjects," end quote. By refusing to do the right thing and clearly restricting sex ed to the formal health class, but promising a flimsy opt-out that was not truly enforceable any longer, the law and its subsequent implementation has broken the trust of our public education system. School was no longer a truly safe and inclusive environment for many families and students, including those who have been sexually traumatized. Tragically, instead of honoring the vote and the public request, this district passed a status quo sex education resolution. I believe it could easily be argued that a high number of the 500 students or so who have not returned to the district are a direct result of that one shameful decision. At nearly $18,000 per student, that's a shattering economic loss. We do not co-parent with the government. Those families who were able to simply took their children to those who would prove more trustworthy. In 2021, I put together a book for this board. I paid $300 of my own money and days of my time compiling it. I explained why parents were extremely concerned with the CSE methodology and with those who promote it. After the status quo sex ed resolution was passed, I asked a board member if they had read this book, and I was told, I think those were thrown in the trash. I think a particular board member wanted to read it, and they might have rescued one of them. Ask them. End quote. I did ask. I know that that board member at least did read it. Perhaps others of you did too. I do not know. I have tried very hard to maintain a respectful, professional, and diplomatic attitude here in the district in spite of the way the voters and myself have sometimes been treated over the last 2 years. I have now written up the resolution for you, and to create that you can create a policy that should have been created immediately upon request in 2021, and I am giving it to you tonight. It is my hope that by finally implementing this policy to keep the full smorgasbord of sex ed for those who want it in sex ed, and to give an honest opt-out for those who don't, that trust, peace, and respect will be restored in this district, and that it will be the best district in the state. And I look forward to putting the past behind us and respectfully moving forward together to this end. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garrett. Carol, and after Carol is Jeremy Clark.
Hi there, Carol Rivera. I have the fortune of representing the 600 educators in Peninsula School District that work daily with students as their union president. I'm very proud of the work that my staff do. We appreciate the efforts and celebrations next week, but we also appreciate that year-round in different ways that people can show their support for public education. And I just wanted to talk specifically about budget impacts. I haven't spoken in a few meetings, just out of respect for our members who are impacted by maybe some of the decisions, and also our colleagues in other bargaining units and non-represented. I just wanted to make sure that the community and the board are aware that it is always challenging times when we have to make difficult decisions. Leadership is important when in normal times, and then when we're faced with different pieces that are challenging or outside the norm, that is where we see the strength and resilience of our staff and our leadership. I think I wanted just to first and foremost recognize that we also have quite a few individuals working at the district office that are new to their role and have worked in the district less than a year, and they have tried to conduct these difficult decisions and conversations with grace and respect for the staff that work here. I would like to just say that our unit is impacted this year. We have almost 40 fewer educators in the district. Next year, we anticipate 20 more people leaving our unit. So we have been doing proactive measures. And when we talk about working collaboratively, I just want to make sure that people know that problem solving, decision making is difficult. There's decisions that were made in alignment with the strategic plan and related to the budget that we don't necessarily agree with. We will look forward to having some future conversations about those things. I sat with 2 days with district office staff, having one-on-one conversations with those individuals who were impacted. And so the biggest question that they had was, who is going to do the job that we do? Our deans work hand in hand in our elementary and in our high schools. Our instructional facilitators and digital learning coaches support all of our district, our teachers, our students in curriculum implementation. And then also our Global Virtual Academy, online options. We look forward to problem solving all of those more immediately. But I just want everyone here today to just recognize that people are at the heart of the work that happens here. Those people work hard and care and concern for the students and families and community, and that that respect and understanding of the difficult job we do is recognized on an ongoing basis in ways that are genuine and authentic. Thank you.
Mr. Clark, and then after Mr. Clark is Sharon Gakin.
Oh, no problem. My name's Jeremy Clark. I have 2 kids in the district. I appreciate the board for their call out on protocol. I will say that the board and the district, feel free to sue me anytime you want. You do not scare me, and I will defend myself and my family in this matter. I'm here to continue our discussion on a HIB investigation, harassment, intimidation, and bullying, in which the school board has violated its own policy 3207, specifically procedure 3207P, by failing to provide the mandatory appeal hearing to the targeted student as stated, and thus denying the student, my child, due process in this matter. It's now been 7 weeks and 4 school board meetings that the board and district have refused to answer direct yes or no questions related to procedure 3207P. Instead, in your response on April 18th, 2023, the board again tried to spin the issue by stating the review of the record constituted the board's hearing. Unfortunately, that is not what procedure 3207P states or mandates. Furthermore, neither the board, the district, or your lawyer has provided any evidence nor any legal statutes or precedents to support your claims. What kind of organization, and more importantly, what kind of leaders knowingly and intentionally violate their own procedures to deny a 4th grade student due process? A 4th grade student. It's pretty sad. The board's response also states the following: the district takes your concerns seriously. The district is committed to working together with you. The board invites you to work collaboratively with the school. Since January 9th, 2023, when the most recent incidents began against my child, these are the number of outstanding questions to your organization. To David Brooks, principal of Swiftwater Elementary, 10 questions. To Sarah Hoover, District Risk and Compliance Officer, 8 questions. Superintendent Barr, 12 questions. Board of Directors, 9 questions. That's a total of 39 questions. Not a single one has been answered to date. Is this what you call leadership? Is this what you call accountability? Is this how seriously you take my concerns? Is this what you call working together and collaborating? Clearly, there is a systemic issues in this district as a whole. Believe it or not, you made a pledge tonight to that flag. You said liberty and justice for all. All includes students too. Not just some students, all students. It's time for a change in this district, and it starts with this board.
My name is Sharon Gakin, and I am new to Gig Harbor. I've only been here 5 weeks, so anything I say may not even apply because I haven't been here long enough to learn about you people. And now I'm not allowed to ask questions, but I'm hoping someone can point me in the direction of finding out where would be the resources for your guidelines and your procedures. Like, I don't know if your agenda is public before the meeting or what. I would just like to know how things work. I come from another school district in which I helped with the reading program, and I guess I would go home with so stressed that my muscles ached because I was expected to promote a reading program in another district that was frankly stupid. The names that they assigned the peoples in the story were names that we've never heard of, that they would never use. The scenarios were strange. They taught new words with nonsense sentences. And it was just, I've heard the term dumbing down, and I guess I had never actually seen it. And I was very distressed by the way that was presented. And this was in a high, how would I say this? An expensive school. So I just, and I was pretty much told that there wasn't time to review all the material. So I guess my urge to you would be, when you select curriculum, review it thoroughly to see the overall progress of it, the way it's going, and to see if it's raising the student over the course of the year or if it's lowering them. And the other thing came about through personal experience in my own family just recently with a family member in another state, and that was bullying. And I've just been distressed by accounts, and maybe they're the 1% that it happens, but that staff don't take bullying seriously. Oh, kids will be kids, or we'll just let them work it out themselves, or it's no big deal. But it's very scary when it comes into your own family. And so I would just urge the board to take any complaints about bullying very seriously. Thank you.
And after Jen Bunch will be Jennifer Keating.
Superintendent Barr, our awesome board, thank you for allowing me to speak, and thank you for all the people that showed up, because this is a nice large group. I want to talk about sex ed, but I don't want to talk about those things. So what I would like to talk about is that it was hard for me just listening to some of those things, let alone not being an 11-year-old child. I was embarrassed. I wanted to cover the ears of the children that were in front of me and behind me. So I would hope that you guys would maybe consider an opt-in for sex ed, because most people don't know what we just heard would even happen. I've been in Peninsula School District pretty much my entire life, since 5th grade. And so when we think of sex ed, what I would have thought is something that we would have been taught, and it's completely changed. So I would say an opt-in, then everybody gets what they need and we can still meet requirements, and that we're just keeping it in that health class, that it's not taught in math class or anything else, or English class, so parents aren't having to constantly look for it, that it's just explicitly written in that it is in just one class. So thankful for this on, and I hope you guys all have a great evening.
Okay, Jennifer Keating, and then after Jennifer is Axel Keating. Or are you coming up together? Are they here? Possibly left. Okay. Is Luke Jollyboy here? Nope, I think they're all together. Teresa Dupuy, sorry. I probably still said it wrong, so just let us know how to say it.
That's okay. A lot of people do. My name is Teresa Dupay.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm going to talk about the sex ed curriculum also. And I just wanted to share a story because my son, when he was in 8th grade, I didn't realize this till a few years afterwards, that he was actually taught how to put a condom on a banana, or with the effect of using a banana. And I had no idea that this actually was done by his science teacher, which I actually thought she was the science and math teacher, but anyway. And so my daughter does not attend public school because, well, I wanted to make sure she got the teaching that she needed, not sex ed. But anyway, I want to cite that there was research done on the FLASH curriculum done by the Institute of Research for Research and Evaluation. So this is regarding false claims and evidence of failure, the FLASH Comprehensive Sexual Education Curriculum. A recent press release by King County, Washington, claims that a new national study shows the county's comprehensive sexual health curriculum, FLASH, is clinically proven to reduce teen pregnancy, that's quotes. The King County website states the FLASH is an effective proven program at reducing unintended pregnancy and STDs among teens. However, this cited study conducted by employees of a company that promotes the FLASH curriculum produced no such evidence, but rather found more evidence of FLASH failure than success. The FLASH study did not measure the program impact on teen pregnancy or STDs, so any claims that it proves FLASH reduces teen pregnancy and STDs are simply not true. There hasn't been any, there's found no statistically significant effects on the population of FLASH participants. FLASH failed to demonstrate the intended behavioral effects. There was one subgroup effect, an increase in condom use for the subgroup of FLASH students who had not previously had sex and then became sexually active after participating in the FLASH program. But the increase in condom use was short-term. In reality, it is evidence of failure of this minor effect to endure beyond 3 months. Furthermore, one may well ask why this subgroup of sexually abstinent students became sexually active after participating in FLASH. I'll just have to go through highlights here because I don't want to run out of time. No statistically significant effects on intentions to use condoms or comfort communicating with mother or father about sexual health. So the curriculum wasn't helping with intentions of use condom or comfort in communicating with parents. The lack of success found in FLASH study parallels the findings of a recently published global review of comprehensive sex ed effectiveness. This study found that most school-based CSE programs, such as FLASH, have not been effective at producing sustained improvement on key behavioral outcomes for their targeted student populations. The FLASH study touted by King County produced more evidence of program failure than success. Thank you.
I'm going to call one more time for the Keatings or Jolly Boys. Are they here? No, they take off? Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we're moving on to the consent agenda. Is there any discussion prior to the vote? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by David and seconded by Lori. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. The agenda has been approved. I'm going to actually take a little bit of liberty and jump in with an extra item before we move on to our reports. Dan Gregory, are you here? I'm going to call Dan Gregory up. I think he has a really special and exciting announcement to make. We made sure he was sitting on the complete opposite side of the room so that we could build the suspense.
My exercise. Good evening, Superintendent Barr and directors of the Peninsula School District Board. I have the pleasure of introducing the successful candidate in our Key Peninsula Middle School principal search. And so before I do that, I would just like to inform the board and everyone here that we had 12 really good applicants. From those 12 really good applicants, we had 12 of the most solid candidates that we chose to interview. The interview team, man, they had a tough job in front of them. And so those 5 really solid candidates, we had a lot of debate through the afternoon that we had, and we ended up with 3 really good finalists. And from those 3 finalists, we selected one. I would like to take just a moment to compliment the Key Peninsula Middle School staff. We did do some visits out there, and the staff were very gracious with our finalist visits. And I'd like to especially thank those staff members who participated on the interview team. A few of them are in the back there. They did a wonderful job also, and it was just a great interview team. Through that entire process of interviews, site visits, reference checks, and interviews with Superintendent Barr and Executive Director DeZone, we selected candidate Luke Grunberg. So Luke, would you please join me up here? I'm going to ask Luke to speak for in a moment to introduce his families and others, but I like to share, while he's standing up here next to me, some of the things that his colleagues, past colleagues and present colleagues, have had to say about Luke. Mr. Grunberg believes in every student and their ability to achieve and grow. He develops genuine relationships with our staff, students, and families, and ensures that every student has their needs met, feels safe, valued, and respected every day. Mr. Grunberg is one of the strongest instructional leaders I have ever worked with. He understands the instructional process and is well-versed in the state academic learning standards. It is, however, a style of leadership that inspires others to build engaging classrooms for students while holding every student to the highest standard. Another person said Mr. Grunberg is bright, innovative, hardworking, compassionate, empathetic, and kind. Boy, that must mean my time's up. I have only one more sentence. Mr. Grunberg is a visionary leader who is dedicated to advancing the education and objectives of Key Peninsula Middle School. So on that note, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Luke Grunberg to say a few things. Luke, you're on.
Well, I appreciate being here for many reasons. Again, getting to address the board and again, having the opportunity to accept this honor and privilege to continue my leadership at KPMS and within the Peninsula School District. I do want to introduce my beautiful family. Why don't you come up real quick? So I did get the boys out of soccer practice, so they're stoked about that. This is my son, Mason. He is a 6th grader at Harbor Ridge. And this is Brady, and he is a 4th grader at Pioneer. And this is my beautiful wife. She is a teacher for 16, 17 years? In the Peninsula School District. She's actually teaching math at Harbor Ridge Middle School right now, and this guy's in her math class. So he comes home and he has to do his homework for sure. I just want to say a couple of things, and I won't take a bunch of time, but my wife and I and our kids are products of this district. And I'm an emotional guy, so you'll have to bear with me, but I appreciate all of the staff, all of the teachers, paras, board members, principals and vice principals, counselors that instilled within myself and my wife and our kids what it means to be a lifelong learner, what it means to come as you are and to find a place that you belong, and to grow, and to not worry about again where you start out, but when you take a step forward every single day, and again ultimately find what you are passionate about and what success looks like for you. That to me is kind of the purpose of our lives. So I'm really excited about this opportunity. I feel like, again, I want to inspire in our team, again, a development of supporting kids on their lifelong journey, and building really innovative and dynamic classrooms that engage students, build a sense of belonging, and again, help them really see their worth, and help them develop the courage to take risks, and again, grow every single day into the amazing next generation that will be sitting up here at some point. So I appreciate the opportunity, and again, I absolutely love our team, and having spent the last year building relationships, I feel like we don't have to kind of start fresh. We get to kind of move forward and leverage, again, a lot of the trust and relationships we've built over the last year to accelerate our work here moving forward into this next chapter. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, Luke. Okay, rolling on to item 7, reports. We have no reports for the business meeting tonight. Old business, there are none. New business. Does anyone have a committee report out to share?
I would just like to point out as the legislative rep that, over the course of this legislative session, certain members of the school board and our superintendent advocated and lobbied our state legislature to, pass certain bills and, budgetary items and so forth. Some of us traveled to Olympia. We communicated with our legislators multiple times. Our strategic plan specifically states that we're going to do all we can for every child every day to help them with their academic success. And we also value parent voice and the impact and positivity of families on our students' education. So I was very disappointed in the state and the majority of the bills that they passed, but specifically around education, children, and parental rights. So going forward into the next legislative session as a legislative rep, I will continue to advocate on behalf of our school district and our children, or not our children, our students and our parents to make this the best school district that it can. So thank you.
Okay, item number 10, Superintendent's report.
Yes, I'll just piggyback to what Director Olson just spoke to. We had a meeting today with our Charlie Brown, our legislative liaison, and so he will be coming shortly, I believe. I'm looking at Tanya. I believe the 11th. Is he? Okay, potentially. But he's going to come and talk about the legislative session. I asked today about special education funding, and those pivot tables should be coming out over the next couple of weeks. It was not as much as we would like when you say $396 million spread out throughout the state. And we have a $5 million deficit out of our levy funds for special education costs. So more to come on that. So I just wanted to add. I'm just going to go really quickly because this is a busy time and I really want us to remember what the students were talking about. Our seniors see the end, the finish line in sight. I know they're so excited, but I just want to remind the public there are a lot of activities, especially the woman that was just here for 5 weeks. We have a lot of things going on and they're open to the public. So we have band and choir. We have the Willy Wonka, which I'm so excited about. We really do plays well. If you have not attended a play, the plays are just amazing. So I just have to really encourage. This is the season of choir. This is the season of activities. This is the season of all sports that are outside on such a lovely day and such a lovely season. Field trips, spring activities. I just wanted to shout out to the PSA, our students. They care deeply and the things that they care about. Thank you to our legislators that helped with the Purple Star. All 3 of our legislators, our local legislators, were engaged and involved in that Purple Star legislation. And so I'm just very, very honored. Also, one of our federal legislators has reached out to me. I will have a conversation next week to find out what we would need in order to be a Purple Star designation, which includes a variety of activities. So I will be lobbying for funds for professional development around that or opportunities. I had an opportunity to boy, they were early. The North High Dialogue at Bodø, Norway. So remember, they're 9 hours ahead. So there were moments of 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. But Zoom, it was fascinating to listen to other countries talk about the political realities and the educational opportunities and the importance of our students to be global citizens. So it was really wonderful and a little confusing because it was super, super early and very late. This is the end of Military Month, and I just wanted to shout out, I know that some of our schools have started some things around Military Month. I didn't know that. We had a conversation today, but Swiftwater had some students come in, they had some lunch and some activities with our military-connected families. So I think that that's wonderful as that spreads. We had an opportunity on Monday to celebrate our green leaders, which are Voyager, Swiftwater, and Evergreen. OSPI came out, the state came out, and also awarded Pioneer Elementary. It is, Pioneer is one of 2 schools being recognized by the state of Washington as their representative to go to the Department of Education as a green school, which is a really big deal. And it was really fun to go throughout that school to see. We had students take us around, and so pretty amazing. And then the only last thing that I want to say is we're so excited to have Principal Luke on board. Had an opportunity to greet, I know that his family has left, but I just have to shout out, as a former middle school principal, and Dan DeZone, I don't know if he's here, he and I went out, we're both middle school principals, but it was the first dance since before the pandemic. So the 8th graders, it's the first dance they've ever had in middle school. And there were tiaras, and there were long, it would have put the high schoolers to shame. There were long gowns. I thought it was just a dance after school, but oh no. They had bow ties, and they were all coming in gowns. And it was so exciting. If you've never chaperoned a middle school dance of 11, 12, and 13-year-olds, it was fabulous. So it was an added bonus. I didn't know that was happening. Those are things that are happening throughout this year, many, many firsts. And they're firsts of like our 8th grade students who have been at that school for 3 years. So, so with that, I will close. Thank you.
I just have to comment, I saw a funny poster that said, remember when we used to make fun of Pee Wee Herman's outfit? Well, now your son is wearing it to prom. Okay, rolling on to item number 11, board discussion and comments. I'm going to start down at your end. Can I call you out, Chuck? Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to turn on my mic. I just want to, I guess I want to mimic Carol's concerns. We're going through a very tough time, and I'm concerned about the lasting impacts that we're going to see, some of the loss of the paras, the custodial help, the assistance to the teachers. I know we didn't lose any teacher spots, but all the other stuff that helps our teachers in their roles. I'm hearing that around and around. I know we're dealing with a lot of special ed kids, and reducing that staff is just concerning to me. But we had to make some tough decisions, and I know we had to do it somewhere. I'm just hoping that when it comes to the long term, that we look at backfilling where we really need to, that we take a look at those impacts and do what we can. And hopefully the legislature in years to come will see, I don't know if we take the time to jump on board legally and sue again like McClary, because the state, once again, is not funding education. And I don't know how we address that, how we make them do their job. So, I'm off my soapbox.
Next week, I have several meetings of the different committees that I sit on, so I'll save comments for that. Just a quick reflection, more self-reminder that this is now the second time I'll have going into the spring season of schools, right? And Superintendent Barr alluded to things start coming fast and furious. And I think, I would encourage all of us to just take a moment to try and pause and take note of all those things happening and go to as many as you possibly can and participate in many of those rites of passages, end of year celebrations, plays, performances, sporting events, because it really, it comes fast and then it's gone, and that's it, and this is our chance. So just encourage everyone to see as many of those as we can, and the more, I guess, this is where I wish there was some way to have a single clearinghouse for where we could see all of the events going on. So I'll make the commitment that I'll put on my little Facebook page as much of the events and the things going on as I can. And I hope to see folks there, because they really are truly special times for the next 6 weeks till the end of the year. Thanks.
So for me, I also attended the Pioneer School Green School Award celebration. It was really, really awesome to go to that and get led around by a little second grader and have her be so proud of her school. So that was really exciting. I know several of our board members got to participate in that as well. On Saturday of last week, I got to attend the Navy Ball and the JROTC Navy Ball, and we got to go to Bremerton, not Bremerton, Silverdale, to the sub base, and we went up into their ballroom, and we did a joint Navy Ball with the South Kitsap JROTC. So we had hundreds of kids decked out in their uniforms and their ball gowns. And so the beginning half was very formal, and then they got to introduce, what happens if you break the rules, and you had to drink some grog and jump up and down on your left foot and touch your nose and all kinds of fun stuff. And so during the whole celebration, I said a couple of times to people in the room that if more of our students in the school district saw how much fun those cadets were having at that event Saturday night, we'd have an overflowing number of people in our JROTC program. It was just so much fun, and I'm so happy I went. Saturday morning, I got to attend the panel interviews for Students of Distinction. It's part of the Greater Gig Harbor Foundation. We had 31 amazing students. I've been doing it now for 11 years, and I try and rotate panels every year so I can get to see the various categories and the various types of students we have running through each one of those. Members of the board were attended as panelists. There's members in this room tonight that served as panelists. Spouses of members in this room tonight served as panelists. It was just really, really great. And the award ceremony for that will be on May 17th, 6 p.m. at Ocean 5. So if formal invitations went out already, but if you're interested in going and supporting that program, May 17th at Ocean 5. And then lastly, speaking only on behalf of myself, I just want to say that we have over 8,000 students in our school district. And for me, the school district and the teachers are entrusted by those students' parents to do right by them and do all we can to educate those students. However, I feel confident in calling each one of those 8,000 plus students my students. However, I do not call any of those students my children. Those are not my children. They belong to parents in this community, and I believe that those parents should have the majority of the say in how those kids are educated. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Like Jennifer, I have a couple committee meetings this next week, so I'll report on that next time. Spring, this is directed to you guys. No matter how old I get, which is quite now, this time of year always reminds me of my senior year in high school. Always, every single year on a day like today, because I can remember back to those times on campus when everything is happening all really close together. There's tennis and there's baseball and there's track practice and people are, out just doing their thing or going to play practice, and there's so much going on. And it's just so fun, so enjoy it, because it's also, of course, a little bittersweet because, you got the big celebrations coming up and then off to other things. But also agree with Jennifer that it's a great time to go as a community, to go to anything that you possibly can. On the websites or on individual school websites, you can sometimes find, but just the musicals, the plays, the sporting events, all of those, the awards ceremonies, Students of Distinction. There's so much to celebrate in this district that on top of the graduations and all those kinds of celebrations too. So I look forward to that always. And then just one other thing, when we were talking about the month of the military child, just that I don't know why this would make me emotional. It's not shouldn't be that. I did not grow up in a military family, and so really my first experience with, nor in a town that had a lot of military families, but when I went to college, which was a state school, a whole bunch of my friends turned out to have one or two parents that were stationed at the time, Fort Lewis. And two things that I really remember being noteworthy about them, they were some of the most, they had the most incredible ability to meet new people and to function well, and I realized it was learned from, or the ones that were good enough friends of mine, that they learned quickly how to do that because they moved so much, and there's an unfortunate side to that, of course, as well, but they were thriving human beings because of learning how to get along with all different sorts of people. I think more so than some who grew up with the same handful of people. That was one thing, but also it just really doesn't end for those kids, because some of my closest friends too that I can think of, their parents moved again while we were in college. So then they sort of had nowhere to go. One moved from here to the Pentagon. They had nowhere to go for break or to because it was too far. And it's a challenge. It's a whole family, as you guys endeavor. And so I'm excited anything the district can do to appreciate those families and to make their journey a little bit easier and to celebrate them as well. And that's all I have. I actually thank you I'm glad so many people are here. I look forward to learning more and having a good discussion and study session about several of our curriculums. So it's always great to have so many interested persons from the community. So thanks.
I'll keep my comments short. I also attended the Navy Ball with David. It was a fantastic event. The kids put on a fantastic event and show, and they're in charge of leading it all, and they should be very proud of the work that they do. I also went with my family the following day to a Sea Dragons XFL game, which I didn't even know existed, but our ROTC cadets were invited to present the colors there. So standing on, I'm going to call it Seahawks Field, but Sea Dragons Field, I guess, for the night. They were on the big screen TV. They did a fantastic job, and they represented, their principal is here, they represented their school with integrity and top-notch character, as I'm sure we would all expect them to. So we were very proud to see that. And then again, on Monday night, they were invited to go to SeaTac Airport to accompany home the honor flight. So there's a group of veterans who get to travel to Washington, D.C. as part of an honor flight, and it's quite an honor to be selected to escort them back home. So those kids are doing great work. And then lastly, I just want to point out, while we are appreciating our school staff this week we're recognizing our administrative professionals. So I have to call out Tanya Beatty, who's over there. Really, everything that you see here tonight is organized by her, presented by her. The slides are done by her. She coordinates with all of the presenters, the teachers, anyone who's here. The cupcakes were done by her. Not made. She supervised. But thank you. Really, Tanya is our right-hand person. We are a team of 7 through and through, and Tanya is that 7th person. So thank you, Tanya, and all of your colleagues in that position. So we're going to roll on from this to adjourn to the study session. So this portion of the meeting will take place in the Commons and therefore will not be live streamed or recorded. No action will be taken by the board in the study session, and the business meeting will not resume afterwards. The public is invited to observe the study session. So this concludes the part of the live stream, and I'm going to call John Helwick up to introduce how the study session will be conducted.